Right, so thanks for joining us this evening. So we wanted to give an overview of the 45-day challenge that's going to start on the 7th of June and is going to run all the way to the 21st of July. So 45 days, just about 6 weeks. In there, we're a little early, so we wanted to give everyone a bit of a head start so that they're able to put their hand up, get signed in, and be able to book themselves into the weigh-ins and the consultations so that we're ready to get started on the 7th of June. If I maybe start, and I'm going to ask David to jump in on a couple of subjects. It's just worth a little interesting piece to get you thinking. A race to the South Pole way back in 1911. Two very esteemed gentlemen gathered teams together. Roald Amundsen and Robert Scott from the UK pulled together two small teams, sailed their way by steamboats to the South Pole as close as they could. Slightly different starting locations. They were about a day apart from when they started, but both of them wanted to be the first to reach the South Pole. Both of them put together as a different strategy for their team in terms of how they were going to achieve their goal. And the clue in this story, and there is a meaning to this that I'll get to in a little bit, is they had goals. Both of them had the same goal. They chose slightly different methodology and tactics to try to get there. One was eminently successful for their team and became the first person and people to reach the South Pole. The other strategy wasn't so good and ended up being quite fatal for them and their team. Before we move on, perhaps to David, any ideas who won?
Scott.
Who's your money on?
Robert Scott.
All right, Robert Scott. Let's remember that one. All right, let's keep moving. So this isn't the first time that F45 Highgate has done a 45-day challenge. Now, we're still relatively young. For those that are quite new to our studio, we were given the green lights to open in April 2020. Of course, that was just at the beginning of the first lockdown. So we actually only opened at the end of July. We had about 2.5 months run time until the second lockdown hit us. So we closed for a month, opened again for 3 weeks, and then got shut down just before Christmas for the third lockdown. And now here we are, 5 weeks open again and enjoying running classes. So while we're still relatively new, we've ran 2 in-studio challenges, kind of, and we ran an online challenge. So here's a good example of what you can achieve by going through the challenge. Braden, an interesting photograph here, from a Halloween fancy dress workout. Braden lost 8.7 kilograms. It was a 25.7% reduction in his body fat mass. Importantly, and while he's a young guy, reduces visceral fat by 3 levels. Despite being a frontline worker during a terribly busy time and working various shifts, he stuck pretty closely to a nutrition plan, came in on a regular basis, kept his spirits high, was very active on our WhatsApp.
Oh, I'll be back.
Chat, made some incredible brownies on some of the online socials. And the commitments that he made and the changes that he made in his behaviors continues until this day. And in fact, he's a great example of what the challenge can do for someone. Previously to that, we had Dia. So she and her husband managed to clock up 32 days in a row going through our very first challenge. And while doing that and following a nutrition plan and a bunch of other activities, she managed to take out 5% of her total weight. So it was a 23% reduction in her body fat mass and actually increased her muscle mass percent. Hector was another gentleman, again, working in the front line, incredibly busy period, but he achieved some impressive results. 2.5% increase in muscle mass, 32.5% reduction in body fat, and again, focusing on the visceral fat, very, very important consideration. So It is possible within 45 days to hit some impressive results. And that's the opportunity that is in front of all of us if we want to delve in and take part in this upcoming 45-day challenge. So if you're already a member with us, or if you're considering becoming a member just for the 6 weeks and doing F45 classes, well, what's the difference between the challenge and just signing up for 6 weeks? So we'll try and break down just quickly, and we'll go into a bit more detail in each of these. What you get from us will be a detailed body composition analysis before you begin the challenge, and also at the end of the challenge. So we take a before and after analysis, and we can see how have you progressed during the 6 weeks. From that body composition analysis, you'll work with one of our trainers, and you'll get a very personalized interpretation of those results. What do the stats and the numbers mean? We'll discuss why are you doing the challenge, what's your aspirations, what goals have you got, and we'll try to help you articulate and document some smart personal goals. And we're going to try and push you down the avenue of clearly fitness, but also nutrition, hydration, rest, recovery. Maybe you have some other goals, and we're going to touch on this in a bit. You would get access to a challenge app or a challenge portal, which has all kinds of really interesting information. And if you're anything like me, when I've went through challenge before, it becomes a bit of your day-to-day Bible. So it's got lots of articles, meal plans, shopping lists, menu library, videos and advice, lots of educational stuff. And also, if you can't make it into the studio and you want to do some at-home workouts, you've got lots of on-demand workouts with Corey. You'll get a lot of attention from the trainers when you do come into our classes. So the trainers will be aware of what your goals are, and will try to push you and support you along in the class to achieve those goals. Some of the trainers are also doing the challenge, so they can resonate with the pain and the struggles that you're having, particularly during those first couple of days or weeks. Now, it's up to you, but a lot of people that have done the challenge before like to join our challenge WhatsApp group. You don't have to, but it keeps you accountable to everyone else who is doing the challenge with us, who's on the WhatsApp group, where we can share feedback. We can talk about the wins that we've had, some of the things that we've cooked, perhaps off the challenge portal. We'll maybe talk about some of the fails and the falls that we've had. We'll maybe share some ideas. We'll have to know. And it's a good way to get to develop workout buddies as you get to know your community. At the end of the challenge, there will be prizes. We will have male and female winners, and there will be some pretty good prizes for those winners. Everyone who completes the challenge wins something. Everyone's a winner. Obviously, you achieve your goals and get some results, but you'll win something from our studio. And we'll also run through the 6 weeks the regular fun little competitions with our prizes to keep everyone interested. Most important, what we really hope is this 6 weeks is the first steps in you making a transformation, making a change to your behaviors, to your lifestyle, health and fitness, so that over the long term, you'll continue to adapt those behaviors. Just hear
can I just pause you there? Bella, would you mind just putting yourself on mute, because we're picking up your audio? Bella?
Thank you, Tom. Let me see if I can mute everyone.
You should be able to do it, Paul.
No, I'm struggling to find where I can mute everyone.
If you just hover on Bella's square in the top right hand corner, you might be able to mute it, because you've got the
Sorry.
There you go. There you go. Bingo. Thank you, Tom. Thank you for technical support. Right. So, goals, a very important one. Myself and David can probably share this a little bit, but we get people coming in on a regular basis to do the challenge, and we say, why are you here? And we get these kind of answers. I want to lose weight, I want to get fitter, I want to improve my strength. Like, how would you know at the end of 6 weeks if you have or you haven't? Want to get a six-pack, maybe, you know, to get that body shredded for the summer holiday, go into a green zone that you're allowed to, want to grow my muscles, want to exercise more. These goals don't help you, they don't help us, don't help anyone. We need them to be a lot more articulate. So we're going to challenge everyone who comes in and does the body scan and talks about their goals to be much more articulate, much more smart about the goals. These are some examples where you can measure exactly what goal you're trying to achieve, the time frame that you have to try and achieve that, and hopefully we'll advise, is it realistic within that timeline, and how might you be able to do it. So for example, instead of saying I want to lose weight, someone might say, and we might have to calculate, I want to reduce my body fat percentage by 3 points, for example, from 25% to 22%, which when you put it in kilograms would be from 16 kilograms of body fat to 13.5% of body fat. That's the kind of goal that we can really aim at. And we know that if we can achieve that within 6 weeks, that's going to either lose weight or it's going to make you look a lot more toned. You want to get stronger, we'll talk about some particular exercises where you use dumbbells or you use some of the weights that we have in the studio. You want to get fitter, we'll talk about maybe the rowing machine or some other exercises where we can really articulate and you can try to measure over the 6 weeks, are you going to be able to achieve those kind of results? None of us in F45 Studio are qualified nutritionalists, so we can't give you very detailed nutritional guidance and plans, but because of the experience that we've all had in our own experience, we can certainly talk to you about the experience we've had about what to eat, the kinds of different nutritions that you can experiment with, drinking enough water every day, but also rest and recovery ideas, even as simple as going to bed at 11 o'clock and getting a good solid 7.5 hours of sleep. So have a real good think about the kind of goals that you would like to achieve. You know, why are you considering doing the challenge with us? And let's see between us if we can articulate some really good smart goals. So when you come in to do the detailed body composition scan, we use a machine called InBody. It's a bit like a weighing machine. So we'll ask you to take your shoes and socks off. We'll give you a little antiseptic wipe that's just purely to get a bit of moisture on your feet and on the palms of your hand, because the machine will send an electrical pulse up and down your arms, up and down your legs to take a reading. And within about 3 minutes, we will get the results. Now we'll print the results out for you and you'll get a sheet like this. Don't worry too much about all these complicated meanings and all the statistics and what have you. We'll explain the pertinent bits to you. The back of that page discusses and explains what those elements are. Nothing that Google can't help you with as well. If you download the InBody app, you would be able to register using your mobile number, and you will, within a couple of minutes, hopefully get the results of your body scan onto your phone, and then you can enjoy reading through the details of that and the explanation of that in the comfort of your own home and in your own time. And if you then do another scan with us at the end of the challenge, and even beyond another challenge in 6 months' time, a year's time, you'll also get the trend analysis that you see on the right-hand side here at the bottom of the page. You see the trending in terms of how you're progressing. So that's what the detailed body composition scan will be. When you do that, we'll also take that 15-minute slot to talk about your goals and try and link that back into what this benchmark statistics is telling us about the current state of your body composition. The challenge app, or the challenge portal, which is a website, every F45 member or anyone who joins us on the challenge will get access to this. In fact, you can get access to the challenge app now, but you don't get access to all full functionality. This becomes a real Bible for people going through the challenge, broken into 4 different categories. So there's a whole educationary piece about learning. So there's articles, there's blogs, there's vlogs, where you can read up in various stuff about fitness, about training, about nutrition, rest and recovery, etc. A lot of information on the track, train and eat. So actually, if I just touch on some of these, the daily tracking, if you're the kind of person that likes tracking every day or every couple of days, how you're progressing, maybe reading off your Lionheart, how many calories have you burned? How did you progress achieving a certain goal? Were you increasing the amount of weight that you could do? Have you hit a few more meters on the rowing machine? Keep track of that in the portal, and then track your stats as you continue over the days and over the weeks. Training, of course, is the F45 training. You come into the studio when you do classes. For those that are new to F45, we do cardio workouts Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We do strength-based workouts on Tuesday, Thursdays, and Sundays. And on Saturday, well, it's a bit of a party mode. We do a combo, 54 exercises, typically in 60 minutes. By the way, during the challenge, pretty much every Saturday, we're going to have DJ Sasha coming down to join us, create a bit of extra atmosphere, and she'll be spinning some banging tunes for us each Saturday. She's actually coming in to join us this coming Saturday. Also, if you aren't able to come into the studio for whatever reason, you can use the Challenge app, which has pretty good on-demand workouts, either doing body weight if you don't have any equipment at home, or if you do have some equipment, there's a weighted version. And there's also some pretty good recovery sessions, some stretch and recovery sessions that you can use there as well. In terms of eating, and I'm going to ask David in a second to talk about Fresh Fitness Foods, our partner, but also the basal metabolic rate. But within the Challenge app or the Challenge portal, the Eat section has really, really good meal plans that you can cook at home. So it's like a weekly meal plan. There's a whole shopping list. You want to go down to the supermarket and buy everything that you're going to need, and then you can make the recipes if you choose to follow that. If you choose to experiment a bit more, and I'd encourage you to try doing so, there's a recipe library in there with thousands and thousands of different kinds of ideas that you can delve into. So if you want to make some protein balls, for example, just do a search on protein balls and you come up with 10, 15, 20 different ideas to experiment, play around with it, see what you fancy. You've also got this ability, if you like, if you're someone who's a bit more lazy like me, who's not very good at cooking, you can also order food through a food delivery company. David, would you be able to share your experience quickly about Fresh Fitness Foods and how that works and who they are? But before you do that, maybe set the scene a little bit about calorie calculating.
Yeah, sure. So first of all, it's probably worthwhile saying that everybody's going to be different, and F45 has kind of progressed over the years from flatlining calories to giving you a little bit more, and they take into account different people, but also that's where we're on and to help you guys through this challenge. So somebody coming into the studio doing 3 sessions a week versus somebody who's doing 12 sessions a week, their demands for energy is going to be drastically different. So flatlining an amount of calories just isn't applicable to everybody. So what we can actually see from the in-body scan is something called our BMR. So it stands for your basal metabolic rate, and you don't really need to know that, but what it is the amount of calories that your body burns doing absolutely nothing. So based on your age, weight, height, and gender, your body will burn a certain amount of calories. Now, when we take into account the amount of activity you're doing, say Mr. T here doing 12 sessions a week, he's going to be burning quite a lot of calories. And even more so, if muscle building was his goal, he needs to be very accountable for what he's eating. So there's multiple different ways you can do this. We can sit down with you and tell you exactly the amount of calories you should be eating. We're going to take your in-body score, times it by activity level, take into account the type of job you're doing. So if you're sat at a desk 9 to 5 and you're just doing the F45 sessions, again, we're going to have to monitor those calories and keep them quite low. But if you're a builder working on site, coming in 5 times a week, and you're a larger, taller person, your calorie demands are going to be more. So yeah, as I say, we can sit down with you in the consultation and sort that out. And then what you do with that is up to you. So you could just take those calories and protein target and go off on your own. There's apps out there like MyFitnessPal that will allow you to track that. As Paul's just said, there's also stuff built into the Challenge app, which is very useful. Again, it's very basic food, but if you want to try and make stuff yourself and be aware of your calories, it's very much a learning process. So building your own portions, making your own meals is pretty useful. And then also, yeah, we work very closely with Fresh Fitness Food. They're the official meal prep provider for F45. And personally, I mean, both of us on a personal level have got good relationships with Fresh Fitness Foods. But genuinely, I've tried lots of other meal prep services. I had one called RNS over the last week or so, and it just doesn't come anywhere close to Fresh Fitness Food. Now, there's a couple of different things that they offer. They do an F45 challenge plan, which will baseline your calories. It will give you a set amount. And off the top of my head, I can't actually remember what you get, Paul. Do you get 3 meals, a snack and a juice or something?
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Which is what F45 would like us to tell you to do. But I want you guys to be in the right amounts. They do have another option where you can give them your calories and macros, and they'll provide you bespoke meals as well as the other thing that's available. So there may be some people that will be able to make changes on those low calories, but we need to understand that the more food you eat, the more energy you've got. The more energy you've got, the more you can get out of these sessions. So going back to the challenge setting thing that Paul was talking about, we don't want anybody to come in and just say, I want to lose weight. It's how can we set tangible goals that are going to go hand in hand with seeing you achieve those targets. And a big part of that, as I say, is having enough energy to do those sessions. So there's the long and the short of it. I can see on the screen now that there's discount codes and stuff. It really is good. If you've got the money to do it, I swear by it. I like making my own breakfast and dinner, but when I'm out and about, even just doing the lunch stuff, it's an absolute godsend. It just keeps you on track. So well worth looking into if you can afford it.
Thank you, David. Yeah, so I'm going to do it. One of my goals is to try being plant-based for 6 weeks. And for Monday to Friday, I'm going to get Fresh Fitness Food for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and for a snack, as David said. And then the weekends, well, we get to do our own thing now that restaurants and cafes and that are open again, and we can go and see some friends, might even hug some. But I'm going to use Fresh Fitness Foods over that 6 weeks to try to help me hit that goal. And I think offhand, price-wise, it works out as something like 25, 30 pounds a day, something like that, if that's what you're looking to do. So just to finish off story, I'm sure you're all on the edge of your seats to figure out who actually won the race to the South Pole. So as I mentioned, both these gentlemen started almost at the same place, same distance to try and reach the South Pole, pretty much at the same time. Roald set a strategy for his team that would say that because of the weather in the Arctic being so bad, that they were going to aim to move 20 kilometers every day without fail, whether the sun's shining and it's perfectly still or whether it's blowing an absolute gale. Robert Scott set his team the challenge to say, let's blitz it as much as we can on the good days when the sun's shining and when we're able to. If we can do 40 kilometers, 60 kilometers in a day, let's hammer through that. And when the weather is really, really bad, let's hunker down, build our energy, build our strength so that we're able to go and blitz our way when the weather is really good. The strategy that ended up winning that was Roald's team. The 20 kilometers every day. They managed to achieve that. On the good days, they blitzed through that and then they rested and recovered a bit. On the bad days, it took pretty much all their energy to get through that. But they ended up getting there a couple of weeks ahead of the British team that Robert Scott had. So by the time that Robert Scott had got there, pretty depressingly seen the Denmark flag hanging up in the central bit of South Pole. And unfortunately, they had expended so much energy and all the resources over that length of time they weren't able to get themselves back again, and the whole team ended up perishing, unfortunately. Moral of the story being, set yourself a goal, a realistic goal, set yourself a plan, try to follow that plan every day. Not just the days that you feel really good, you wake up and you have a spring in your step, you jump out of bed and you come into the studio and you blitz a workout, maybe do a double workout, because the days that you're not feeling so good, you're going to lie in bed, pull the covers over your head, couldn't be bothered. Those are the days that you're going to fail. And it's the mindset of every day, follow the process, follow a structure, try and achieve those goals. That mental toughness and that mental structure is the one that's going to help you achieve your goals on a consistent basis. Another one that's relevant to the 6-week challenge is trying to push a car from a standing start over a distance. Weighs an absolute ton weight. Really hard to get it started. In fact, you might even have to call some people to help you do that. The analogy here is when you come into the studio for the first time or the first couple of times and you're not fit and you're not strong and you feel a bit worried about it, just come in. Our team will be there, and the other members that are around you, you'll feel the support coming from the community. That'll help you begin pushing and building a little bit of momentum. And over the days and over the weeks, you get a bit of confidence, you build that momentum. Trust me, it'll be so much easier to push that car all the way through to the other end. You'll be smashing it across the other end of the car park. So what happens now? If you would like to jump in and do the challenge with us, if you're a member, we ask you to pay £25 and to jump in and join us. You can go on to the booking app, the same app that you use to book in the classes. On the bottom right of that app, there's a store section. Go into the store and choose the F45 Challenge, and you'll be able to purchase the option to come and join in with us. For those who are not yet members, we'll ask you to sign up and buy the 6-week challenge membership with us. You can buy an ongoing month-to-month membership or a 10-class pack if you so like. You would then have to opt into it as well. But otherwise, purchase the 6-week membership for $3.99. And if you buy it now, you'll also get that extra week before the challenge kicks off to come in and join us and do as many classes as you like. Once you've opted in, book yourself in for a body scan and a consultation. In the same way that you book yourself into a class using the F45 GlowFox app, you will see from next Thursday, I think it is, and then next weekend and the whole of the following week, 15-minute slots booked in at various times of the day. You book yourself into that. One of our trainers will be there for you at that time. You'll be able to come into the studio. There won't be other people around. We have a private room. We'll obviously have the door open and someone else will be around supporting, but you'll have a lot of privacy to do the body scan with us. We'll then explain the results and spend that 15 minutes going through some goals, discussing some ideas, articulating the results for you, so that when you start the challenge on the 7th of June, you have some really good, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic and time-based goals to work towards. And obviously over the couple of days or weeks after the weigh-in and the scan, we'll be able to tweak and change as you kind of reflect a little bit more on those goals. We'd ask you to tell us if you'd like to opt into the WhatsApp group. We'll ask you. If you don't want to be in, that's perfectly fine. If you do want to be in, that's great. It's good fun, it's good, it's entertaining, it's engaging, and we'd ask you to participate in that. We then ask you to log into and start getting really familiar with the app and start playing around with that, familiarizing yourself with all the great content that's in there. So once we have agreed the SMART goals, we ask you to jump into the 7th of June into the 6-week challenge. It's only 45 days. We ask you to try and keep an open, also an inquisitive and a resilient attitude through those 45 days. So we'll look to get started one step at a time, and we'll see if we can push our way through towards the end of the challenge and smash through those goals. So that's everything that we wanted to share. And I'd like to just open it at this point for those that are on the call, if anyone had any questions, thoughts, or concerns about all of that. And if not, perfectly fine. I know there's a few good football matches on, so a few people might be rushing off to get that. Or perhaps, David, any other kind of thoughts, or like from your experience from other members, what are some of the traits that you've seen of people that have been successful and maybe those that have not been successful?
I just think it's breaking that mold and getting into a routine, whether it's you going 3 times a week, 5 times a week, or as I said, 12 times a week. Like, it's just having some sort of accountability to do the challenge and really getting stuck into it. And I think the importance is setting those goals. If you come in thinking you're going to lose weight in the first couple of days, you're just going to be disheartened and you're not going to stick to it, which is why we're so keen on getting people to set those goals that are going to run hand in hand with the weight loss stuff. So look at those tangible goals as rowing more or lifting heavier, whatever it is. And as a byproduct of that healthy lifestyle and consistently coming to the gym, you're going to see those changes. So I just think, as Paul's put very well, just be very broad-minded when we're setting those goals and speak to us beforehand. Tom's been very vocal about it already. He said, what do you think I can do? Us as trainers, it's our profession. We can see what you're doing in the classes. We can give our best input to align to what you're doing.
Yeah, thanks, David. Absolutely. And we will push you. We will try and drive you along a bit. We'll also support you and pull you back where we see you might be trying to overdo some things. So that relationship with the trainers becomes a very important part of this 45 days. Tom, you raised your hand.
Yeah, just a quickie, Paul, thanks very much for walking us through it. Can you just describe post June 21 what the F45 experience is going to feel and look like?
Absolutely. So all being well, if the government continues with its roadmap towards reducing social distancing and the COVID restrictions, dependent on this India variant, if we do get the green light to reduce those restrictions, we will go back to what we call the proper F45 workouts. At the moment, and unfortunately because of the timing that we opened in July last year, all we've known, those of us who have been in the studio with us so far, is these 2 by 2 meter squares where we keep social distancing. You have your own personal equipment. They're all sanitized before the class, at the end of the class. And we just stay put, and you follow the workouts on the TV screen. From the 21st of June onwards, we hope that we will be moving from station to station. So from station 1 to station 2, station 2, station 3, there will be sharing of equipment at that stage. We will continue all the sanitizing, the hygiene measures that we have in place to keep equipment COVID secure, to keep ventilating the studio and all that kind of stuff. But we will look to raise the intensity. So it's quite nice that the current plan will be, we have 2 weeks in the challenge doing the squares and following the same workout that we have today. When we're a little fitter and a little stronger at that stage, we will raise the intensity and go station to station, follow the person who's in front of you, and everyone in the studio will follow the same workout. We will all do the same exercises in each class. When you come into the studio at the beginning of the class, everyone will be asked to stand on the blue track. The trainers will then give an introduction and explain what the workout is, and will then demonstrate the 9 exercises, the 12 exercises, or on a Saturday, the 27 exercises for the day. Everyone will then go and warm up somewhere in the studio. Everyone will then be allocated a starting station number, and there may be 2 people per station. There might be 3 people per station, depending on the workout. Obviously, we'll have enough space, and we have quite a nice big studio at Highgate, and then off we go. And that's how it's going to work. The other thing will be, we will finally be able to open our changing rooms and our showers at that stage, because up to now we can't look after social distancing. We can't sanitize the showers appropriately to, you know, to look after everyone's safety. So it would be the wrong thing for us to open the showers at this point. But if the government tells us it's safe to do so, we'll then be able to open the showers, provide the towels, and hopefully people will be able to avail of what still feels like very new showers that have hardly been used. It'll be nice to open that up to all of our members, finally. Does that kind of make sense, Tom?
That's perfect. Thanks so much. Cheers.
I can't wait for you to try it. We'll get the sled up and down the blue track. We'll get the battle ropes out. It'll be fun. Intense, but fun. Does anyone else have any kind of comments or questions at this point? All good. Super. Well, listen, guys, thank you very much for your time and attention this evening. Any questions, by all means, drop us a note, drop us an email, give me a call, drop me a WhatsApp, or come and ask us in the studio. And we're looking forward to seeing a good group come to join us in this next challenge and smash some goals. Have a nice evening ahead, guys.